So, I was recently looking at the videos that I made on YouTube regarding, you know, different topics, and I realized that my cohesive ability was all over the place. I was not focusing right on my speeches. My ways of thinking was just scramble. It was just like almost like an early stage of schizophrenic or Alzheimer's or something like that. So that kind of got me worried about my my mental health and things like that on my YouTube video. But what I like about YouTube is that you can make videos talking and then go back in my channel and review some of the videos and figure out where you are, like, mentally and stuff like that. And the videos on YouTube helped me figure out what it was. So when I was making those videos, my previous videos, I had, like, if you go on YouTube and you type in COINTELPRO infograph, you're gonna figure out that the FBI and Citizen Corp and all of these spy agencies that work with the Democratic Party inside the United States of America, they target their local population based on political reason, based on ideology, based on your rights of self-expression, based on everything. They categorized you and then target you using all sorts of psychological warfare operations. And with me, I've been complaining about this for a while now, is that they were using chemical agents. What are chemical agents? Are it's like crystal little ice shards weapon that they stick in a little thing and they can shoot you in public. Now, at that time, I had no clue what it was. At that time, I was just completely confused. I was being shot by this in public, and I had no clue what it was doing to me. But later, when I review my videos on YouTube, I realized that, holy crap, man, I wasn't sounding right at all. I wasn't making right sentences. I was just everywhere. And part of the domestic civilian task force, terrorist task force inside the FBI, is that they want to target the population for mental distress so that they can take people's gun rights away. Now, I was looking at my family and everybody else you can think of as well, and I realized that this COINTEL operation they're already infiltrated my own family members. They're already snitching for the FBI already. And I was just like, that's a lot of reach, man. That's a lot of overreach. That's an extreme overreach. So the best way to fight this is to seek help from foreign governments like the Kremlin, Russia, or China, or any of the governments out there that can help you somehow inside the United States of America. Because this federal task force that they're implementing has nothing to do with the Constitution, has nothing to do with protecting the nation from domestic enemies, it has nothing to do with stopping terrorism, it has nothing to do with anything but harassing, antagonizing, using chemical agent, framing, and then destroying the person mentally, as well as everything, honestly. Just, they targeted me through relationships, online relationships. They isolated me for 5 years now. They start with isolation, and then they alienate you from your neighbors. Then they target your social and online communities, friendships. Then they shoot you in public with these sharp weapons so that you're not mentally stable. They destroy your family relationships and your friendships and everything you can think of. Everything that you have is used against you. Um, the only thing I have right now is seeking help from foreign governments, because the Republican Party is already infiltrated. The federal government is already infiltrated by the British government. Uh, I had to get help from hundreds of different type of foreign governments, and this is what they came up with. The conclusion was that colleges, small towns, universities, and places like that was being heavily infiltrated, so that the federal task for the federal, the FBI federal, the terrorist task force would basically hiring sleeper cells out of the British government inside these colleges, and they're just for the past like 30 years, 50 years, they're literally recycling the same agencies, the same mindset to target, antagonize, and destroy the American people through infiltration of the federal task force. And then through that, they were able to create this woke ideology, which is like a borderline communist, to weaponize a new generation, to basically target, um, different fraction of the federal government, so that they could infiltrate even more that way. Um, Not only, it doesn't really stop there, because they were able to do that with the military. They were able to do that with the Pentagon and everything you can think of, um, especially with women and stuff like that. My town, they were just working with, when I like this in this New Year's, when I went back to my town to visit my family, I figured out that Amazon was already there. They gentrified the living shit out of my town. They raised up the prices like crazy, like you wouldn't believe. The black community there was completely destroyed. Everything's bought up. It's way too expensive. There's no way for anybody to have any sort of living wage and prosper in my town anymore. Um, and that's the reality of it. I had to move away from that, from my town, and into Texas. And it's absolutely astonishing how much overreach this infiltrated FBI terrorist task force has infiltrated, and how much power they have over the population here inside the United States of America. Now, I had to take for the past couple of years, well, for the past couple of months, I had to detox my body like you wouldn't believe. I started taking NAC. Do a Google research and type in what NAC is. It helps with your cohesive ability of thinking right. And basically, I'm just like trying to slowly recover mentally um, from the FBI task force and spooks and spies that follow, harass, they terrorize you, they isolate you, they 100% destroy you. You're left with no options but to seek help. They're basically a recruiting entity for foreign governments at this point. That's what I see, because the only places that you can get help from, it would be foreign governments. And I did seek help from them, and it was just like, hey, this is how the FBI was infiltrated way back in the 50s and 30s even, through British colony, through academia. That's why there was a huge issues with having minorities having the proper academic studies, because they were afraid of people getting into position of the government, especially the federal government, because for the past, since the 30s, they were trying to create, they were trying to actually take American sovereignty away from Americans and create a UN body and create the World Economic Forums. And they were able to basically extract all of the American production line over to China, and now they control the supply and demand of the market that way. And then they were able to consolidate power in Europe that way through the UN and the EU. And then what happened was, basically that's what it is, man. I don't want to give you guys all the whole research, but from my understanding of what happened is that there's a three-class subsystem inside the United States of America, which is, you got the executive branch, you got the military, and then you got the civilians, and they're just trying to destroy the Constitution and the Bill of Rights right now through basically peer pressure, through psychological warfare, through COINTELPRO, through everything you can think of. Me, they start targeting me because I own a 3D printing website. You can check it out. It's called armstube.com. I figured out that, even before the Epstein files were online, we figured out, because I was like a hacktivist with different groups online, through Pizzagate and all these other groups, that we were able to figure out that the elites were basically blackmailing CEOs to create this international coalition of power to extract everything out of the US to China through blackmail and underage girls and stuff like that, underage prostitution, through the Epsteins and Terramar and this Vatican/British intelligence infiltration of the United States of America. It goes very deep into everything that's happening inside the United States of America. The FBI is not, they're basically like, they're all doing the biddings of the international bankers and the European Union. The FBI headquarters, they move over to Utah, and Utah has also a UN building there, the UN headquarters, and New York City as well. And it's like so obvious, like they're right on your face now. They're just like, oh, you're gonna have to follow UN laws now. You're gonna have to follow the WHO now, which is the World Health Organization. And if any doctors wants to speak the truth, then they lose their license inside the United States of America. And that the military, every year or so, they do exercises to fight guerrilla warfare inside the United States of America. And it's just like, they're targeting the population, they're committing treason, they're blackmailing CEOs, they're doing underage and prostitution, they're doing psychological warfare and targeting the population. They're destroying the Bill of Rights and freedoms inside the United States of America, using infiltration and all sorts of crazy tactical warfare, tactical psychological warfare on the population. And it's just like, wait, how the fuck is these the good guys, Just look at what happened in January 6th. It was like a massive FBI operation to frame the Patriot movements as some sort of terrorist organization. It's just, and good thing I kind of got in touch with like a bunch of other groups of basically intelligence operatives that were able to kind of pinpoint and help me figure out what the fuck was happening to me. And that's what it is. They were using a list of things that they were using. They were using parasitic warfare, chemical agents, psychological warfare, messing up with your ego, destroying your cohesive ability of critical thinking and speaking right. They were isolating, alienating, and destroying your social circle. And then 100%, isolating you from every social media platforms to keep you isolated and without having any sort of free speech anywhere, not even online on the digital platforms. So, just things are just gonna get worse from here. Things are gonna get extremely worse. No one's gonna take this COVID shot. No one trusts the federal government. They have a horrible track record. You know, they kill Malcolm X, they kill Martin Luther King. They just fucking kill everything. You know, they just go around and blasting everybody. Any civil rights groups or anything, they just go around blasting everybody. It's just, you believe in the Constitution, bam. Just look at what happened in Waco over there. They were shooting fucking people, burning down the houses of Christians. You know, it's just, all they were doing was they were protecting children that were being trafficked through the Hillary Clinton administration at that time. Christian groups and the FBI went in there and mass slaughter everybody. And they were all British operatives, by the way. All of them. The ATF is one giant British colony at this point. It's just, I mean, I have so much information that I can share. It's just, this nation is absolutely fucking infiltrated. This nation is 100% infiltrated. There's no such thing as good guys and bad guys. There's only bad guys against the whole world, basically, at this point. It's absolutely madness. And for me to later figure out that I was being targeted with chemical agents mentally and everything you can think of, so they could frame me as a mentally ill, so they can take my gun rights away, is really fucked up, man. It's worse than what the Nazis did, because the Nazis didn't do chemical agents like that. I gotta figure out if I'm probably gonna send out this video to foreign governments to see if I can get some sort of maybe political or through their embassies get like some sort of political asylum or something, because, you know, just the isolation, the antagonization, the harassment, the following is just, it's going to keep getting worse. And I just rather find help, like through maybe to the Kremlins or somebody that, you know, they're targeting conservatives, man. They're targeting Republicans. They're targeting civil rights advocates. They're targeting everything. The British government, the UN, the WHO. They're targeting doctors. They're targeting everybody. Everything that's outside the UN, the global world order. They're targeting the living shit out of them. And they started through infiltration of the academia and everything you can think of. So I don't want to keep repeating myself, but this is what's happening inside the United States of America. And it's absolutely messed up.